Okay. So maybe for the viewers, they may not know. Like when you say mestizo or native, like would you be able to break that down for like I say a Black American? What does that mean, or what is that?
In Ecuador, there's 13 native communities, which would what would in America we consider Native Americans. The main native population in the Amazon area where I was living was the Shuar community. They were previously a warring hunter-gatherer tribe, and they've slowly become more civilized over time, building building up in their communities, growing plants, but staying pretty much to themselves still. The mestizos are what you would consider the colonizers, the people that are mixed with Spaniard, so partially white, partially indigenous in a sense.
Okay, okay. So now can you talk about the day that y'all actually got arrested and the
Similar
things
to
that was
the, I
happening?
guess the 20 Laos.
What was that?
The
I ain't
day we got arrested,
oh,
well, we found out after the fact. The day that we were arrested, we found out after the fact that the father of my. Can you hear me?
mhm. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, the day we were arrested, we found out after the fact that my friend's father, Stalin, a Samarenda, was on our property at 3 in the morning prior to the police actually arriving to serve a warrant on our property. The police arrived between 5 and 6 a.m. So by this point, Stalin had admittedly been on our property for 3 hours with his family, waiting for the police. When the police arrived, they came into our house, threw us to the ground, guns on us. Crazy thing, thought it was a movie, didn't know what was going on. I'm asking what's happening, what's happening. My brother at this time is asking me what's going on. So I'm asking the SWAT team, they're saying, we're coming in because you guys have a cocaine plantation. We're coming to raid it. I start smirking. I'm like, what cocaine plantation? I have no cocaine plantation here. They're like, no, we have reports that you two Americans are growing and exporting cocaine. I said, this is the most craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. So after they get an opportunity to go through our home, they look around the property, they come back, they sit us up, they say, man, we don't know what's going on. All we found is a little bit of marijuana on you guys. We thought we had the biggest bust ever. I said, man, I'm not here for that. They're like, okay, okay. Well, let's see what's going on. From there, they cuff us. They say, all right, we're going to have to take you in for this little bit of weed you have and whatnot. They start taking us in. All of a sudden, we hear screams outside, and they say, hurry up, get in the truck. We got to go. As they're taking us off the property, they say, the native people that were on your property, they've claimed to have found two dead bodies in your backyard.
Okay. Now, to my understanding, y'all was with y'all family at the time, or like the night before, or the weekend before, or something like that. They were visiting.
The day that they claimed that these boys went missing, we were in Banos, Ecuador, which is 4 hours away from my farm, dropping our parents off at the bus terminal so they could get back to Quito. It's almost like a halfway point to get back to Quito for them to catch their flight on the 28th. So the day that they claimed these boys went missing, we were not even in the city. We were not in the town. We were nowhere close.
Right, right. Man, that's crazy. Um, Now I have a question about the property. Do y'all still own it, or have they taken it? And did they do any? Did they damage the property, or?
The property, I still own it at this point. I still have to pay taxes on it. But at this time, the Samarenda family completely, the day of the arrest, they looted the property. They took all the goods they wanted. They stole our passports, the security cameras, they stole the cameras from within the house, they stole right in front of the police. Once they took everything out of the houses that they wanted, they burned the houses down the same day, March 11th, 2017. So the police were never able to review the security cameras that they said they saw on our property to see who was responsible for these acts. They were never able to perform any forensic evidence on the homes. They were never able to perform any recovery of evidence in the basis of receipts or recovering credit cards or debit cards to verify our locations. None of this was able to be done because the Samarenda family, by 10 a.m. on March 11, 2017, had completely ransacked our homes and burned them to the ground in front of the police.
Mm, mm. So like you said, they did it in front of the police, so nothing ever came of it, like any legal action or anything.
We filed a police report through our lawyer, but due to us being in prison at the time, we did not have the ability to push the issue. And being in prison, no one took action on our behalf. So our parents were supporting us. They were worried about us getting out. They're trying to get us our freedom. No one is trying to fight over material goods at the time period. And so the prosecutor just kind of swept the case under the rug, said that we never came into the prosecutor's office to make a statement on the issue. So there was no more need to do a further investigation. But I remind you, we were in prison, so we did not have the ability to just leave and go to the prosecutor's office and continue with our complaint.
Right, right. I understand that. Um, so I ask another question. So okay, so what was the situation like with the lawyers? Did you feel like they did everything they could to represent you? Did they, um, and have any obstacles or pressure from the outside in terms of your case?
The biggest issue with lawyers that we've seen throughout our process is just the conflict of culture. When we say to them, "Hey, can you do this on our behalf to present this in our court case?" No, relax. We know what we're doing. This is not America. Calm down. If you don't trust me, get another lawyer. And this, you'd be 8 months into the process with them, getting ready to go to trial, and you ask them, "Hey, would you be able to get a private investigator to review this information?" Because we're also looking over our discovery packet and seeing things that are inconsistent. We're seeing inconsistent testimonies from the victims' families. So we're asking our lawyers to investigate. And it seemed like us asking was an upsetting thing to them, as if they were trying to say, being an American, you don't know how things work here. Let us do our job. But then when they get in the courtroom, it's like they're awestruck by the fact that the prosecutor is presenting the same information. They were saying, "Hey, man, we asked you to look into this." The prosecutor comes into court and says, "Hey, we have DNA on the crime scene. It proves these guys are guilty." Tested the DNA. How can you say we have DNA, you're guilty, but never test it? I, that never made sense to me. I didn't understand that. I still don't understand that. And that's what we've continuously been asking to have tested. No one has ever denied giving blood to do a DNA test. From the time we heard they had DNA, we said, "Please, please take our blood." They said, "No, it's too expensive. It's $500. It's $300. We said we would pay for it. Our lawyer said, "No, it's not necessary. It's the prosecutor's responsibility." When the prosecutor came and interviewed us on the case, we said to the prosecutor, "Can we give our blood? Because we hear that there's DNA in the case, so you can test it." "No, it's not necessary. We don't need it." We said, "But we're willing to give it. We're willing to pay." "No, it's not needed. It's not necessary." Then we go to court, and the first thing the prosecutor says is, "We have DNA evidence. That proves they're guilty." The judge, our lawyer, asked, "But did you test the DNA?" The prosecutor said, "No, it was not necessary. Just the fact that we have DNA evidence proves that they're guilty." But whose DNA?